Okay, you all, happy Monday, happy 2023. So glad to have you all in this live stream, watching this live stream, watching what's going on with the economy. In fact, I just saw something, an article talking about maybe the possibility of impeachment for President Biden, and where's the country money is going. So by now, right, you have celebrated 2023. Now let's get serious. Now let's get serious about what's about to happen, about what this is going to do to the economy, not just in the United States, but globally around the world. How the merging of two financial systems will come together since the Bretton Woods Agreement, right? That the dollar was removed from the gold standard that President Nixon removed since I was born. Since the implementation of the IRS of taxes, many people don't know that it wasn't too many years ago that there was no tax income, right? All of your money was free money, and then the implementation of the IRS, or AKA the Federal Reserve, came about. And speaking of the Federal Reserve and taxes, let me share this with you real quick. As you come in, make sure that you hit the like button, hit that thumbs up, whether you're watching me on Facebook, you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on the replay. I just shared this article, right, in this group, in my group, that I also help with getting or creating, for lack of better words, creating tax credits, right? Creating tax credits. What that means is getting more money and paying more taxes simultaneously at the same time. I often have this question, like, why do some people, not all, but some people, why do some people think that taxing the rich, applying more taxation on the rich, why do some people think that that will help the poor? I want to pause for that. Why do some people think taxing the rich will help the poor? I never, because even if you're taxing the rich, the trickle down, the domino effect of getting the money to the poor working class, and also the medium or the middle class income earners and the higher six figure middle class income earners, is not going to have a trickle down effect. It's not going to have a domino effect, right? It's not going to be where the money then is transferred to the medium middle class, the high earners middle class, or even the poor working class. I never understood that. So instead, why don't middle class income earners and high income earners, middle class, six digits, learn how to implement a home based business to reduce their taxable income, to create more credit, tax credit. This is why I help people create more tax credits in their life so they can earn more money and keep more of the money that they're making and stop some of that money from going away. I also help people with personal credit until the switch is completely turned on. We see now FICO TNT has come into approval for home purchases to be qualified for a home buyer. So you have the FICO TNT that's going to change the FICO credit score system. It has to change because it has to change along with cryptocurrency, with this new currency system. Change the FICO credit. You can't have the old cryptocurrency or the old credit scoring system with a new monetary system, right? So this is where FICO 10 and FICO 10T will come into place in implementing that. But I just read this article. Expect lower tax returns as tax season will be in full swing as of January the 3rd, right? While you're gathering the necessary documents to file, such as your W-2s and your 1099s, this is what I call W-4 wealth. You can visit my website to help you increase your cash flow and your create more tax credits, right? Which means more money coming to you and your household. And there are some IRS changes that you need to know about. So those with children are likely to see smaller tax refunds than what they are used to. The child tax credit, people, is going from $3,600 per person down to $2,000 per person. That's a $1,600 decrease. The tax filing deadline again is April the 18th, and experts suggest waiting until the end of February or early March to start filing to ensure all of your necessary documents are filed. So people are going to be shocked, especially those who are low income earners, and they're accustomed to, when I say low income earners, I mean under 50,000, 60,000, 75,000 a year, and they're accustomed to 13,000 5-digit tax returns. That's changing this year, not next year, but this year. $2,000 per child. Why? Because the government paid you up front. Remember, it's nothing free. It's nothing free. It is nothing free with the government at all, at no time. They may give you money up front, but they're going to take back more on the back end. So again, come in, come in. Let's talk about this global recession. Let's talk about where the money is moving, people. This wealth transfer, and I want you all to listen to me and listen to me closely, because religion has taught this all wrong. Religion has taught this all wrong. And if you're on the live stream, I'm seeing 37 people in. Come in, drop your city and state or your country. Let me know where you are tuning in from. But religion has taught this all wrong from the book of Proverbs. This is a well-used scripture, right? That the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. And that scripture has been so taken out of context, right? Out of context, that most people in religious institutions or organizations that teach this have the mindset or the concept that, oh, this means that the wicked's wealth is just going to fall in my lap. Or I'm just going to sit at the mailbox and drink lemonade and count the clouds, and I'm going to get a mysterious check in the mail. Or one day I'm going to wake up and thousands are going to be transferred to my bank account, and I won't know where it comes from. Listen, I do believe in the law of giving and receiving. I do believe in the law of sowing and reaping. I do believe that God works in mysterious ways, and God can make a way out of no way. I do believe that. But my thing to you, why put yourself in a position where you need miracles when you can just manifest millions? That was good. I'll sip on that one. Why would you put yourself in a position where you need miracles when you can just manifest millions? Renisha asks, how long do you anticipate this? No, we haven't even started. Has the worst pack? No, this is just the beginning. This recession has not even got back into full throttle. As you're seeing your gas prices slowly creeping up about 10 cents since Christmas holidays. As you're seeing your egg prices, your grocery prices, there are higher prices on your groceries, but less supply. You see shorter aisles, right? You see groceries that are stockpiled and stacked close together to give the appearance and the illusion that the shelves are full and they have plenty. They don't want people to see the food shortage. They start making these changes and adjustments in grocery stores ever since C-19, in fact. They start making the aisles and the shelves smaller, right? Even the meat department, the shelves are smaller. And they stack things to give the illusion or the appearance that it's fully stocked when you actually have less things in your grocery stores that's available. They remodeled a lot of grocery stores to give that illusion. So this is just starting. And with China and new variants that they are saying is being released from this uncontrollable C-19, we globally, this is just getting started. It's just getting started. What is really going to start hitting people, if they are poor working class and they're not making their money work harder for them than they are working for money, is when they see those lower tax refunds and they've already went shopping for the holidays, and as normal routine they're expecting these big tax refunds, only to find out they're about $3,000 to $5,000 short. Because just think about it, on a child tax credit, you have $1,600 less per child. Let me give you an example. If you have 3 children, that's $4,800 that people are going to be short in their tax returns. And what will people do? They want to riot, they're going to want to picket, they're going to be in outrage, and they want to blame the government. That's for 3 family child tax credit, $4,800 short, right at $5,000. That's a whole month position of less spending. And most people that do not know how to control their tax refunds anyway are usually broke again by the summer. So now it's going to be earlier than June for people that pay for those fast tax returns, and they pay fees on top of fees in order to get a rapid refund. This is why I was telling people to visit the website and get your money up front throughout the year, because you're giving the government a tax-free loan, whether it's out of your paycheck or your 1099 earnings, or if you're a small business owner. They really hit the high income earners the most in taxation. And you can get 475 tax credits by having a home-based business that teaches you how to apply these principles. So you can visit my website, milliemoves.com, for information on that. Now, the ISP increases 1.3 cents on diesel and 1.2 cents on gasoline. This is the start of this year. This gasoline compared to the previous months. And people, this is why I am in cryptocurrencies that's backed by natural gas, that's backed by crude oil, that's backed by these commodities. Because if you're not paying attention, you don't see the commodities war. You don't see what's going on in the commodities world. You don't see that a quart of oil can cost you up to $12 for a quart of oil. I have some more videos about how to put your money to work so that you can outpace this inflation, right? So you can overcome this inflation as well. Now, I'm going to share this video with you. It's about 3 videos about this would be a global recession by Jim Rickards. Renisha said, I never really looked at food prices. I don't look at the pricing of food. I get what I want. But I started noticing that I can have 3 to 4 bags of items at the grocery store, and I can easily have from a $50 to $80 bill for just 3 or 4 bags, depending on what I purchase of groceries. That didn't seem right. 3 bags, $50, $60, right? So no, I didn't pay attention to groceries either until it was paying attention to me. Till I saw the beef. I try not to eat red meats anyway. Until I saw chicken prices increasing months ago, right? And so let's listen in. Now, eggs in my state, if you're not getting the organic or brown eggs or the organic eggs, you can still find maybe 12-pack for maybe $4 or $5. But those more organic eggs were definitely off the chain as far as their pricing. And I've heard in other states that the Walmart in other states didn't even have eggs, that there was an egg shortage. So global recession, let's listen to Jim Rickards.
is already in recession or is going to get worse? I hate to use cliches, but I guess it was Game of Thrones. They said, winter is coming. Well, winter's here. It's getting very cold very fast in Europe. They don't have enough energy. The U.S. and U.K. together blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. That's not going to be a source of natural gas. And now they put this cap. I say they, meaning NATO, the U.S. and EU, put a cap on Russian oil prices. Well, the one thing we know about price controls is they never work. Like, they just never work. You can guarantee the price will be higher because you'll create shortages and move things to the black market. So Europe's in a recession, going to get a lot worse. China's in a recession, going to get a lot worse. Japan just kind of falls victim to everything else we're describing. When consumption is down, there's demand destruction because of higher interest rates. Japan's an export powerhouse. Well, guess what? Their exports start to shrink drastically because no one's buying their stuff. Same for South Korea. So what we're looking at is a global recession, and those are rare. It's one thing to say, well, Germany's in a recession, or the U.S. is in a recession, or Japan. Japan's had 9 recessions in the last 30 years. They're in a 30-year depression is a better way to describe it. But a global recession, which we did have in 2008, with the exception of Australia. Australia seems to be recession-proof, but they did have a recession in 2020. But we're looking at a global recession, and that would be if we're lucky. If we're not lucky, we'll have a global financial panic on top of that. So this is the bigger picture, the macro picture, but it comes at the same time that we see a supply chain breakdown. There'll always be supply chains, but the future supply chain will look very different. And right now we're kind of in a muddling through period and not very efficient period. And we all get inflation. I always say I may be an analyst, but I put gas in my car and shop for groceries just like everybody else. So I get the inflation side of it, but I have a separate chapter on disinflation and deflation. And that's coming very fast, and no one's ready for that. You can see it coming, but right now everyone's kind of got the inflation mindset on, but the deflation is coming very quickly. So inflation's here. We all see it. Price of gasoline, eggs, milk, butter, groceries at the store, rents, electricity, home heating, fuel, you name it. Across the board, inflation's affecting everything. And it started really in the mid-2021. So here we are, almost 2023. So it's been going on for well over a year. For the first 6 or 7 months, Jay Powell, and for that matter, Janet Yellen, were like, yeah, we see it, but it's transitory. We know that story. Finally, November 2021, Jay Powell threw in the towel, said, okay, time to retire the word transitory. Now let's get to work. And they started raising interest rates in March 2022. And we're now up to Fed funds rate of 4.5%. But that's from zero. March 1st, it was zero. So to go from 0 to 4.5 in less than 9 months, about 8.5 months, that's amazing. We haven't seen anything like that since Paul Volcker in the early 80s. Now I know rates are not 13, 14%, but to go from 0 to 4.5, I can say in 8 months is a shock. Now, why is the Fed doing this? Well, they say they want to kill inflation. Okay. But there are 2 sources of inflation. Inflation can come from the supply side, what's called cost push inflation. Costs go up and they get pushed into retail prices and consumer prices. And that is what's happening. That's because of the supply chain breakdown, energy prices, shortages of goods, et cetera. So that's cost push inflation from the supply side. There's another kind of inflation that comes from the demand side. And this is much more psychological. It's when consumers say, they just have it in their heads, and maybe from objective data, that prices are going up. And so they change their behavior. They say, I was thinking of getting a new washing machine, but I was going to wait 6 months, but I better buy it now because the price is going to be a lot higher in 6 months. Or a car, suit of clothes, a dress, furniture, whatever it is, better buy it now because the price is going to go up. That demand side inflation is called demand pull. You're basically pulling demand forward because of in anticipation of much higher prices. There's a huge difference between the 2. First of all, one can feed into the other. This is what happened in the 70s. The inflation in the 70s started from the supply side in 1974 with the Arab oil embargo as a result of the Arab-Israeli war, et cetera. It then fed in to prices, but then there were monetary blunders where the Fed printed too much money under Arthur Burns and G. William Miller, two of the worst Fed chairs in history. And then that changed the psychology. And then it came from the demand side. And that's when, gold went from $35 an ounce to $800 an ounce, 2,100% increase. And, but it affected everything. I mean, I was starting my career at that time. I worked at Citibank as International Tax Counsel. They used to just give us raises. We didn't even have to ask. They would just say, hey, here's another $30,000 or whatever, because they were afraid people were going to quit their jobs, and they did. So they would just give you a raise without even asking. That's how crazy it was. So where are we today? Well, we're definitely getting the inflation from the supply side, and that's clear. But so far, it has not tipped into demand pull inflation. Consumer psychology has not changed. We're paying higher prices, but a lot of this is because demand is inelastic, meaning you got to pay the higher price no matter what. If you have to fill up your Ford F-150 pickup truck because you got to get to work or do your job or take the kids to school, whatever, and it used to be $75 and now it's $150 twice a week, you still have to do it. It kind of doesn't matter because you need the gas and you need the truck. Now, where it does impact the economy is if you do that, it's $75 that you don't have for something else. In other words, you're like, okay, I just paid a lot more to fill up my truck with gas or my SUV or whatever, but now I'm going to, not go out to dinner, not go to a concert, not go to a sporting event, not buy a new suit of clothes, etc., because I can't afford it because I put all my money in the gas tank. And the Fed can't do anything about that directly. All they can do is destroy demand by raising interest rates, which they're doing. We saw mortgage rates go up and housing prices come down, and a lot else. Prices are actually starting to come down. We'll talk about that in a minute. But my point being, if the inflation is coming from the demand side and you do some demand destruction, okay, that works, although it can be extreme as it was with Paul Volcker. But if the inflation is coming from the supply side, think about how much demand do you have to destroy to affect the supply side. It's not coming from the demand side, it's coming from the supply side. The answer is a lot. You have to create a severe recession and much higher unemployment to control supply inflation from the demand side. And Jay Powell has said this 4 times. And he said the same thing all 4 times. He said, destroy inflation is job one. We know there's going to be a recession. He didn't use the word recession, but he as much as said that. We know unemployment's going to go up. We know this is going to cause pain. He actually used the word pain 3 times in one paragraph. I've never heard a Fed chair use the word pain before. Powell has done that. He's been being very blunt about this. So they're out to destroy inflation. But here's what the markets don't see. Here's what the Fed definitely does not see, and what very few analysts see. Supply side inflation can feed to the demand side. Demand side inflation can feed on itself. But supply side inflation alone does not feed on itself. It tends to destroy itself. There's an old saying, the cure for high oil prices is high oil prices. In other words, if you make them high enough, and going back to what I just said about putting gas in your tank, think of all the things you're not spending money on. And that causes business failures, layoffs, higher unemployment, lower velocity of money. You stay home, like you said, you don't go out, basically. And that's what's happening now.
Okay, there it is, Jim Rickards, talking about this global recession, what's happening. This is where old money is going to meet new money, right? And this is why I'm bringing to you all the attention of having cryptocurrencies that have real use cases. In fact, I just came from the gym. You can see I just got my t-shirt on and relaxing. Happy 2023 to you as well, Melanie. You are dropping your city and state and let me know where you're tuning in from as well. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, do that on the replay as well. And so what's going on is going to be a global economic currency system reset. Now, if you are known or if you know about cryptocurrencies, right, we have a lot of things coming down the pipeline, such as the XRP and the SEC lawsuit, that in my opinion, because although we are saying that this is the new year, this is really not the new year, right? This is the 11th month of the year. February will be the 12th, and March, right? We go by the Gregorian calendar that states that January is the new year, but actually March is 01. It will be the new year. That's why you have September, Septor, or number 7, October, like an octopus, number 8, and then November, right? The Latin word for November is the number 9, November as well, right? And so a lot of people are celebrating New Year's, and I'll say it too, but actually we need to look at the biblical calendar when the new year will be, when the spring will come in, when the season change. Um, that's a whole nother live stream for another day. That's a whole nother live stream for another day. But if you study the winter solstice, you'll even understand where Christmas come from, and why we have more um, less daylight from the winter solstice and the setting of the sun, S-U-N, not S-O-N. And then in March, we get more daylight saving time. Have you really even asked yourself, like, why do we have to adjust our clocks for more daylight savings time? Right? People sometimes just do things, and I'm not being judgmental. It was not until I came into the truth of knowledge that I began to recognize and question these things as well. And so, religion, back to the wealth of the wicked. This wealth transfer is going to be different. The wealth of the wicked has been laid up for the just. Some questions I want you to ask is, number one, who has the wealth? According to Proverbs 13 and 21 and 22, right? A good man leaves an inheritance for, or to his children's children's, at least for 2 generations, right? And the wealth of the sinner, and King James says sinner, some translate to wicked, is laid up. So number one is, who does that scripture say has the wealth? Who has the wealth? It says the sinner or the wicked has the wealth. Did it say the wealth will be simply fall into your laps? It's going to happen just because you are a just, good person. Even though you may not know money management, but just because you call upon the name of the Lord, God says, I reign on the just and unjust. Laid up means it is sitting up waiting for you to act on an opportunity to retrieve it. It does not mean delivered, right? If I have a package that needs to meet someone, it is laid up waiting. But somebody has to take action to deliver that package. And then the person on the receptive end have to be in position or in that place of destination to receive it. That was good. See, UPS and FedEx, the workers have to be in position. If I have a package for you that's laid up, they have to decide that they want to take action and go through the system, go through the delivery method. But if you're at the wrong address that where it's supposed to be delivered, or you're not in the right location to receive it, and the wires are changed, and you're not in the path of the transaction, you won't get the package. So laid up means that it is not in motion, like this is in motion. Laid up says it's an opportunity for me, and if I take action of it, then I can get the transfer of wealth. But listen, this wealth transfer is often not talked about in religious institution. See, in Matthew 25, the parable of talents, the wealth transfer happened from the poor to the rich. I know. Well, they might as well keep daylight saving time the way it is, because it doesn't matter. The sun and nature's gonna do what it's gonna do anyway. Nothing they can do to stop it. It's still gonna get dark sooner in the winter months. But let me stay on topic. I don't want to be off topic, but I guess I've heard that they're not even gonna change it anymore. They should. But my point was, people should be asking why they changed it in the first place. What does the earth in the universe do differently? What does the sun do differently in the winter months that it does not do during the spring? That's my point, right? And so with that being said, the parable of talents talks about a wealth transfer from a poor person that had one talent who did nothing with it, Matthew 25 and 14, start with verse 14, to the people that already had more than him. Let me show you that. I want you to see it. Do I want to do King James? Because, I'm going to do Amplified. I like Amplified Bible. So this man is about to take a journey. He went far away and entrusted his workers or his servants with his possessions. Pretty much like, the Christ, the Christos. Jesus is said to have gone away and to trust people that serve him with the possessions on earth, with the land, with the livestock, with the gold, with the silver, with the diamonds, with the pearls, all the wealth. The Bible states that the earth God has given unto mankind, but the heavens belong to the Lord. So he went away and said, okay, I'm going to trust you all. You all say that you are the just, right? I'm going to trust you with my wealth on earth. Let's see what you're going to do with it. And the one that had 5 talents, to another he gave 2. And, according to their own ability, when people pray for things to manifest in their life that they won't take time to research and study about on their own, you won't believe, for example, how many people bash cryptocurrency, but have not even taken the time to study it. How many people will bash an investing opportunity and they won't even look at an hour video about it? They can transform and reform generational wealth into their family's life, into their children's children, as Proverbs states. And so he went away on his journey, and the one that received 5 went at once. I love to emphasize this. King James says immediately, immediate action, went at once, traded. Also, this opportunity, if you do Forex or cryptocurrency trading, it comes, an educational component comes with it as well, right? With the trading. And this is biblical. It says traded with them. That means they went into the marketplace. They did trade. How many of you all are trading in the foreign exchange market or the cryptocurrency market? Texting CC to the number on the screen comes with their membership as well. And traded and made a profit. Wow. So you mean to tell me this person didn't pray? They didn't say, please, God, I want to be a part of the wealth transfer. They didn't wait by the mailbox. They didn't check their checking account and expect the wealth transfer. No, they went and did at once. Went and traded in the marketplace. Likewise, the one who had 2 made a profit. Look, it doubled up. The person that had 5 got 5 more. The person that had 2 got 2 more. Is your money working harder for you than you work for your money? The money you're making now, are you doubling your profits in it? Come on, because the Bible says, yeah, it's right here. It's in black and white. But the one who received 1, the one that had the least, decided, I don't want to trade. I don't want to invest in education. I heard you can lose your money like that. I heard that 7 out of 10 people, 3 out of 10 people lose, but then you forget about the 7 that gain. Or you'll say, I learned, I heard that 3 out of 10 times you can lose money, but what about the 7 times you can make money too? And he hid the money. Had an opportunity and did nothing with it. Did not. Currency is called currency because it's always supposed to be moving. And when the master returned, he said, I made a profit. I gained 5 more. And he says, well done and good and faithful, because you have been faithful and trustworthy. The question is, can you be trusted with true wealth and riches? I will put you in charge of many things. Will you invest in your education to learn how to trade in the marketplace, like Matthew shows? Then, you have this cliche or this saying that says money doesn't make you happy. And I said, well, neither does poverty. But according to scripture, Matthew 25:21, it says that you enter into joy. It said, enter into the joy of your master. But you know what happened to the one that did not make his money work harder for him? And he didn't even work hard. The hardest work that person did was digging a hole. That wasn't even hard work. Didn't even go and revisit where the money was. The money is not growing. The money was idle. I had someone to call me today. I was at the gym and I decided to call him back. He may be watching this live stream. His name is Chris. And Chris just told me, he said, look, I have money sitting in a 401k and it's depreciating in value. People 401ks are turning into 201ks. And if you work hard for your money, why don't you research opportunities that you can invest your money? I'm not saying throw all of it, but I've never heard a person except Warren Buffett that says the stock market made them rich. So you take your money, give it to Wall Street, they invested 10 times over to give you a little bit that you're not going to be able to retire on anyway. I saw this post on Facebook. Someone was celebrating their spouse's retirement, and they said, now me and my husband can finally travel and see the world. And I'm like, wow, you waited to do that in your latter years than your better years. And oftentimes retirement income is not enough to live the life that you will want to anyway. Mike says, the young Mike says, young show full of entertainment, says, hit that like button. Damn, y'all. Get on the mic. And then Mike put that southern term on it, I'm southerner. Mike says that, y'all. Tell him, Mike. And so he said, you know what? Because this person said I operated out of fear, I was afraid to lose the little money I had. Like, explain this to me. Make this make sense. How are people afraid to lose a little money by learning to invest their money when it's a recession and you don't have enough money? It says, see, but look, now I will give props to this person, Matthew 25:25. He said, see, I do have what's yours. Most people wouldn't have had that. They would have went spent it. They would have went spent it on a vacation. They would have felt like one life, why not? I work hard. You know how people talk themselves into spending, but will talk themselves out of investing? Let me say that again. Do you know how many people will talk themselves into spending? I deserve this vacation. You can't afford it, but you'll say you deserve it. You work hard. I deserve these red bottoms. You'll convince yourself of that. I deserve this Louis purse. I worked hard all my life. Some women will put $5,000 on a Louis Vuitton purse and don't have $5,000 to put in it. Let me say that again. Some women will spend $5,000 on a Louis purse and do not have $5,000 to put in it. Men, I deserve this splurge, this boys trip, this whatever, I deserve these expensive shades. Most people, in order to get in these cryptocurrency that's backed by commodity that's going to skyrocket, will spend more on a pair of Versace shades than they will to get in this business. And I don't have anything. I have some Versace reading glasses, but I invest my money. I invest in myself first, and I invest and my health as well. So he said, see, what I have is yours. Now you would have thought the master would have said, well, at least you didn't go spend it. At least you didn't go to Miami Beach. At least you didn't spend it on a splurge vacation. No, the master said, you are wicked and you are lazy. I reap where I don't harvest. See, people, that's called compound interest. What you could be getting on your money. That's when the interest on your money is compiling with the interest and making more money. That's when your money is making friends, not from your initial investment, but just from the interest. He said, then you all have put my money to work. He said, you could at least put it with the bank. I love teaching from the Bible. It's just so many financial lessons taught in the Bible. This is why I don't understand why people teach from the Bible a poverty message. Where do you get that from? But some, not all pastors will preach you into poverty, and then they will guilt you into giving. Tell you how you shouldn't be, that money is the root of all evil, but they won't teach you about all the rich and wealthy people in the Bible. It is more rich and wealthy people in the Bible than poor. I know you heard about the poor man Lazarus. I get it. But it was also a rich man Lazarus too, Mary and Martha's brother, that Jesus raised from the dead. He was rich. So y'all ain't ready for this. And said, and at my return, I would have at least received my money back. He just didn't say, look, I don't want my money back. I want my money back with interest. So he says, see, this is the wealth transfer, Matthew 25 and 28. So take the talent away from him. The money is being moved from the poor and give it to the one that has 10 and it's been transferred to the rich. This wealth transfer, people, hear me when I tell you this, is not like you read about in Proverbs 13, or you've been taught to think about that scripture in that manner, that the wealth of the wicked. Again, I tell you all to ask yourself the question, who has the wealth? It tells you in the beginning of that scripture text that the wicked has it. It said it is laid up for you all, but the opportunities are right here, but you won't take action. Ask yourself, why do the wicked has the wealth? Who has the wealth? And why do they have it? Then the Bible goes on to talk about the children of the darkness are smarter when it comes to their money than the children of the light. So the one, he says, go and you will be cast into outer darkness where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. People, if you don't think that hell on earth is poverty, then maybe you should go visit a third world country. So this is just a screenshot of my portfolio, and I'm glad to see this because this is the 111 code. If you all been following me for any amount of times, you know Deuteronomy 1:11 and the 111 code is special to me. That the Lord thy God, Deuteronomy 1:11, the God of our ancestors, will increase you 1,000x more, right? And bless you. That's a twofold promise. But everything in Deuteronomy is conditional. If you do this, I'll do this. That's the law of giving and receiving. That's the law of reciprocity. So the BGLD is black gold, aka crude oil. Aluminum is what it says. Aluminum, these are all commodities. XPLR is the technology that backs it is the scanning technology that scans the earth around and find these commodities in an efficient way. And it's going to be the first satellite that can find these oil wells and reserves and all of these commodities in the earth realm that's going to be launched into space. It's going to be leased into space. They have a collaboration partnership with SpaceX. That's Elon Musk, if you heard of that. Google Earth. And Boeing, the rocketeer company, the rocket ship, the engineering company, the airplane company, right? DLG is digital gold. This is digital, but you can purchase this software. This is what you're seeing. The software is called minting or mining, and you can retrieve this physical gold from this. Debt is not the debt that you're thinking about when you owe someone or an institution money. This is for decentralized, eco-friendly, right? That's friendly for the economy, blockchain technology. And then you have natural gas people. It's out they're already saying that natural gas, we're going to see $7 gas by the summer. So why not have a cryptocurrency that's connected to it and will move as crude oil and natural gas and all of these commodities increase? This is the grow crypto. It's backed and supported and linked to high yielding agriculture. What that means is it's connected to weed, right? It's connected to hemp. It's connected to cocoa beans, where you get cocoa plants and chocolate and soybeans. And also these farmers that have this farmland, they have to sell carbon credits to the miners of the oil. Because once they allow the crops and the plants to decay on their farmland, it then turns into natural gas. And where the natural gas is, that's where the crude oil lies as well. So this is where you get cash flow. This is showing my rewards, the amount, and called the piggy banks of cash flow. And this is my portfolio balance. So you're getting cryptocurrency and cash flow simultaneously, both wrapped up in one, and it's backed by commodities, God's will. That means it's backed by the tangible. This is where the invisible is backed by the tangible. This is where you have a real thing to hold, or that will be used in this economic system that's on the blockchain and new technology. This is where the old meet new. Why is this important, people? Why? Somebody put why. Put why. If you're on the live stream, put why in the comment section. And don't forget to hit the likes up. Let's say, because you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you all, if it's ever want to be a time you want to be a part of this financial wealth transfer, people, these windows of opportunity, they don't come every lifetime. These wealth transfer is not, it's some people that say, I wish I would have got in Bitcoin when it was under $1. Well, this is your opportunity to get in these crypto commodities, right? Yeshua's son, I love that as well. Melanie says, why? Thank you, Melanie, for making a mind message connection. They said, you ain't seen nothing yet. President Biden is accusing oil companies of war profiteering and threatening them with a windfall tax. But will this help gas prices? In the wake of scorching inflation and Russia's war in Ukraine, major gas companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil was taking profit. I want to position you all to take profits too. Because you know what? Whether we like it or not, whether we riot or not, it's coming. This global recession is coming. So in November, days before the midterm election, Biden launched an attack on the industry, calling their record profits a windfall award, not the result of anything new or innovative. And now his international energy envy is calling out oil companies to think about the American consumers. People, this is telling us that we are going to see higher gas prices and crude oil ahead. In fact, that black gold that I just showed you was introduced in November of 2021. By June, when crude oil was at $122 a barrel, by June, there were over 1,300 millionaires created because they got in November. People, that's less than 10 months. And guess what? The black gold, they said that I need to log into it and see. They said they're going to offer it one more time, this, and then it probably won't be offered another year. Let me log into my back office and see. because while I'm live streaming, they maybe do it because this crypto sells out in probably like 40 minutes. So let me see if that black gold is available real quick to come in and accumulate. So no, I'll show you how to back off. It's not showing that it's available right now. But fuel prices, new year starts with more expensive gasoline and diesel, right? So I shared this with you all. It's already said, they're saying Yahoo Finance saying you're gonna see $7 gas prices again. So why not have the cryptocurrency that moves with that gas, that's moving with the commodities market? If you know anything about futures and contracts, you have to be accredited investors in most cases to even get in these opportunities. So I was listening to this by Robert Kiyosaki today, and he was talking about investing in real assets and oil projects as well. Well, what do you do if you don't have the 250,000 that it takes to be an accredited investor? Well, let's listen in on this podcast from Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author of the all-time best-selling financial education book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you have not read that book, shameless plug, I'm not getting any money for endorsing RK, but I highly recommend you learn it and you read it. Read it and learn to apply the principles in Rich Dad Poor Dad.
When you look at the oil industry and all this and the killing of condors and buzzards and all this stuff, I only invest in what cannot be printed. It's that simple. But I'm not invited on most of the stock shows because all they want to do is sell you more stock. So what would you advise somebody wants to switch out of paper into what you're doing? Any advice?
Well, just on the oil issue itself, I think, a lot of people don't really understand, what oil is used for. Oil is in just about everything we touch,
right,
feel,
plastic, paper bags,
and food. And of course, we're going to see real food shortages, right? Fertilizer, we're going to see real food shortages here this year coming up. I think Europe is in a really bad place. But, I always, a lot of our clients, they're in paper. They take a portion of their income and they put it into oil and gas or gold or silver or something, just to have that diversification. And so, for an investor that, just a normal investor, a lot of them, they obviously want that diversification into energy because I think everybody sees that, they can see through this stuff that this administration is trying to push. They go to the gas pump every day. Diesel is still selling for close to $5 a gallon. As far as that, gasoline is still, even though they can continue to say, that it's going down, they're depleting our national reserves.
What is that? Why don't they let you drill? Why are they depleting our reserves? They could just drill more.
One thing, they want to do away with hydrocarbons. Secondly, is you've got a midterm election coming up that obviously they don't want to see high oil prices. I can promise you after the election is over with, they're going to stop taking oil out of the national reserve. The defense reserve. And then they're going to, we're going to see high prices again. And, but that's the reason why. How many barrels of oil how many millions of barrels? I think they're releasing 1 million barrels a day just to keep the price down.
So they get reelected?
So they get reelected. And then they can go forward and push this Green New Deal even further than it is today.
So that's what Dinesh D'Souza says. We the conservatives or the capitalists wear the red coats now, and they shoot from the trees. Interesting, huh? So how do, again, you have to be an accredited, what's an accredited investor? What's the requirement?
Well, an accredited investor is an investor that has made $200,000 for the last 2 years and expects to make $200,000 again next year. Or for a couple, it's $300,000. Or it's an individual that has $1 million net worth, excluding home and automobile.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, most homes today are, about that big.
Anyway, so I want to thank you guys. We're going to Arizona State University. We're going to talk about how the most important job of a capitalist is raise capital.
So people, I just want to share that clip of that video. Some other thing, I want to emphasize about the accredited investor. With these cryptos that's backed by commodity, what the company does is purchase these digital softwares, right? These licensors at retail price, so that people that's not married, that's making over 300K a year as a married couple, or that's not averaging over 200K as a single person for 2 years, is not considered an accredited investor. And note this, after taxes. That's after taxes. That you can get in and be a part of the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. Oil is used more than just in your vehicles. It's used in plastic bags productions, but most importantly, it's used in fertilizer. I don't know if you all know that oil comes from the depths of the earth and the soil and the ground. It's used for fertilizer too, to fertilize agriculture and crops. And speaking of fertilizer, I heard this interview on Fox News from a farmer today, a female farmer. Let me see if I can find it. And she said, or she stated, I hit the thumbs up. I'm only seeing 19 thumbs up. That we are going to see food prices off the chain. People, this is a global reset. Excuse me. This is to bring in a new monetary system. All right, so let me play this video on black gold while I try to catch my breath.
The backing the commodities with the crypto and tying those things together is something that's never been done before. And so far, it's been really good.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about this ecosystem and really how you're impacting the entire cryptocurrency industry. Because let's face it, let's go back and even look at the last bull run that the industry had. I mean, there was a lot of speculation. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of coins where you had celebrities or influencers that were, tweeting about coins that had dogs or foxes or pictures on them, and they had no purpose, no real world value whatsoever. And I think a lot of people got sucked into that. And so, if we look at what you're doing, some would even say that it's kind of like the dollar when it was backed by gold before it was removed from the gold standard.
Yeah, similar.
And we know what's happened to the dollar in the last 50 years or so when it comes to the value. So you guys are, I think that the cryptocurrency industry as a whole is really looking for more substance as we move forward to bring in that credibility factor. How do you see yourselves playing a role in that as we move forward?
If I could narrow it down into one thing, it's stored value. And that's really the key. Anything that's considered, a currency should have stored value. It shouldn't lose 90% of what it's worth over the course of 50 years. So a lot of people during times like this, they'll flee to gold, silver, and some of these things that actually have appreciation and value. And that's what we're trying to create here is the digital format of that. And so our tokens are all supported by commodities and or digitally linked to the commodity itself in the case of gold, silver, and palladium. But with oil, it's backed by the projects. And so this is one of 4 rigs that we have that are in the process of either being set up or are currently drilling. And there's many more coming.
Well, and to have a cryptocurrency portfolio prior to your ecosystem, I have to go out and buy different projects and ultimately hold all my coins in a wallet or some type of an exchange. But you guys have really given people the ability to be able to participate in many different projects, some that are moderate risk, some that are a little bit more aggressive. What are some of the projects that you guys have recently just rolled out?
So if we start at the beginning, we have black gold. We have a project called digitally linked gold. That's a little bit different. That's more of what you would call a conservative because every token that's minted is actually tied directly to a gram of gold. And so with that, you have 3 choices. You can either hold it, you can sell it, or you can redeem it. In other words, every token that a DGL or DLG minor mints, you can actually redeem for the physical counterpart. Now, since nobody's going to take the physical counterpart of a 55-gallon drum of oil, it allows us to play with the tokenomics a little bit differently and give a little bit more of an upside potential. And so what happens there is we have an initial total supply of coin that's allocated. And every time that money comes off of one of these rigs, it goes and buys that supply out of the marketplace and burns it forever, which is going to constantly reduce the supply, but also increase the demand. You know, basic supply and demand economics would tell you that if that happens, the price goes up. And that's kind of what we've seen.
Basic supply and demand economics, which means that when the supply is short and it is in demand, the price, the value is going to spike. So have cryptocurrencies. I love Bitcoin. I still believe Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. In fact, you got Shibarium is going to be released. I still believe XRP is going to be the Phoenix and make millions as well. But listen, this is why. Not only am I a physical money person, not cash person, because I believe gold and silver will make millionaires as well. If you accumulate enough, I believe that you're definitely going to need tangible physical money. Most people do not know that gold and silver is money and cash is just fiat currency. It's a Federal Reserve note. It's a IOU with a promise to pay people the real money. And what he said in that interview was, this is cryptocurrency. When the dollar and cash used to be backed by real gold and silver. I teach the history of money to teenagers. And if you see this is what cash used to read: $1 silver, right? I have another one somewhere, 1 gold certificate. It used to say silver and gold certificates, and you can redeem the money. It was never a fiat currency. It never had the word note on it. It never had that it was an IOU note. A note that was just a promise to pay. It tells you Federal Reserve note, right? That's not what money used to be or look like. That means that I could take this paper, because silver and gold was so hard to carry around. It was heavy, and I could get the and redeem the real money. And I agree with you. Wait until the majority of people learn about the BRICS reserve currency, which means they are dumping the United States dollar. They're no longer exchanging their commodities for cash. Ghana said they're backing their money, their cash, by real gold. Real gold. Putin in Russia says, I want to accept gold for our oil. A commodity and commodity exchange. Why are we giving away tangible wealth for physical paper that failed in 1971, the Bretton Woods Agreement? So my question is to you all is, why are you not exchanging your cash and trading it like Matthew 25 for wealth, for commodities? If you don't find a way to make money while you're sleeping, according to Warren Buffett, you're going to work until the rest of your life. The only way to make your money work harder for you is to put your money into things that increase in value. And commodity is value. It's going to be a supply and demand. So that was on site. That's a great question. And also BRICS is for Brazil, Russia, India. You know how much gold is in India, right? China. And then we have South Africa and Saudi Arabia, the oil, the wealth. And the United States, as it said, is dipped into reserve. That Robert Kiyosaki video is about 3 months long, just to get the prices back down to natural gas for the midterm elections, only to see it come back and spike again. But it's going to come back with a vengeance. This was this interview today by a dairy farmer. I want to share with you all, and then I want to log off.
So remember food prices, showed a 10.6% increase over last year. And because of things like drought, supply chain shortages, and overall inflation next year, you could see these prices pop even more. It's getting expensive to go grocery shopping. Good time to bring in Stephanie Nash. She's a dairy farmer in Tennessee. She joins us now. Stephanie, good morning to you. Do you see food prices going down anytime soon?
No, we're not going to see any change in the U.S. market for food prices for Americans. You know, we imported 57% more from Brazil for beef, 12% more in Mexico. I'm telling the government and our politicians and our leaders, what are you doing? What are you doing with American grown? How are you supporting our family farmers and ranchers? And how are you supporting Americans at the grocery store? They're paying anywhere from 10 to 18% more for products. And we need to fix that. We need to fix the way American runs and how we support our family farmers and ranchers.
You know, for people who don't understand how farming works, they're probably thinking, well, farmers are getting such high prices for their goods, they must be making out like bandits.
Yeah, I mean, that's I guess we're not getting communication to the public, right? You know, you have JBS, Cargill,
Right.
Tyson. They're making marginal record profits this year off family farmers and ranchers, while we see Texas beef selling record numbers because they have no water. And you're seeing California dairy farms sell off because they can't afford feed. And it's just crazy. I think the USDA needs to do a better job of implementing programs to feed Americans, to support American grown, and just be stronger. You know, you look at the markets, you look at imports and exports. We continue to support other countries, and we're not even supporting the American people.
You talk about shortages, a real possibility next year. How bad could it be?
You look at Ukraine, you look at Russia, you look at what's going on in the Netherlands. I think there's going to be a lot of food shortages next year. You know, Americans go to the grocery store with confidence. They can get the food that they need. And I think we take for granted what farmers and ranchers do around this country. We take for granted the products that we produce, the wholesome products that we produce here in America. And we need to rely on that. We need to protect our rural communities and look for a future that is stronger in our food security.
Well, Stephanie, you're certainly putting out the message, and your message is very strong, and we understand. We wish you the best of luck. A difficult time, even when things are great. It's difficult to be a farmer, but it's especially difficult right now. Stephanie Nash.
Okay, people, so I'm wrapping up. Just want to give you an opportunity to be a part of this wealth transfer, to prepare now more than ever. And for some people, it's going to mean they're going to get richer and wealthier. And for some people, it's going to mean that they're going to be able to have the money to put food on the table, pay the electrical bill, because as natural gas, and we have these winter storms and winter blizzards coming in, the bills are going to have to be paid. And I wanted something that I know for sure was going to increase and within the next couple of weeks of 2023, because we all know about the pump and dumps of the crypto market. Bitcoin can go from 69K to 16,000 in a matter of weeks. So this is not the time to just be with currencies that have the power to just dump on any devastating news, or whenever the government or Federal Reserve decides to bring some devastating news. So it's time to have some safety and security. Another thing, my crypto portfolio, if you all been following me, was at 7 digits, right? When this crash came, because I did not want to sell my assets. I didn't want to liquidate back into cash, back into fiat. I didn't want to go back into the government system. I didn't want to have a high tax bill. So I decided to hold, to hodl, diamond hands. But my portfolio, people, is down now to 6 figures, and it's down 80%. So this made sense to me to accumulate cryptos backed by commodities and cash flow both at the same time. So I'm not crypto rich and cash poor. Let me say that again. I still got my number of Bitcoin and Ethereum that I had accumulated since 2018. But now I'm crypto poorer. I won't say poor, but poorer, right? And my cash amount I'm crypto rich still because I didn't cash out. I have the golden eggs, but my cash amount dump is poor. And see, with this, I don't just have the golden eggs. I get the goose that produces the golden eggs. I have the software. Most people sell their assets, they sell the golden eggs, but I have the goose that keeps giving me, accumulating me more crypto and cash flow on a daily basis. So I'm getting passive income and crypto money rewards daily, 24/7, even when I'm sleeping. You don't get that in any other crypto opportunity. Either you got to sit at home and find other hustles for your cash flow, but you don't get the best of both worlds simultaneously at one time. And you don't get cryptos that's backed by God's wealth and real commodities. Also, within the next couple of weeks, digital silverback cryptocurrency will be released, and also cryptocurrency called Drip, where they are connecting with aquatics, watering system. More information on that will be to come. If you want to know, this is like having a membership with Costco and Sam's. You have to be a member, exclusive only. But now you have access to purchase these cryptocurrencies. Now, the one that I told you all about, the black gold, as you can see, it's sold out because it created millionaires in under 10 months. In fact, someone invested $2,000 in November, and by January of 2022, the portfolio was up to $20,000 as crude oil. So these are all the projects. Let's look at natural gas, right? If you're going to be paying more at the pump, you should be putting your cash into something that's going to pump along with that. So this time you have a different outlook when you go to the gas pump, because you know your money is moving and pumping along with those gas prices. And so now you can suck up inflation and then outpace inflation, because now you have an income producing asset that's moving right along with it. So people, it's all different levels. You can come in at the low end, and get these. A rental is just like a test drive. It's 60 days. You're not a long-term holder, but you're testing the waters. You can get rentals at 1x for 60 days, all the way to 2,500. That's going to give you a 10x return. The Bible talks about a tenfold return as well, but some people don't know how to get it. You got to invest in it. It's not going to appear out of thin air. You have to position and trade your money like Matthew 25:14. Let's look at grow. I'm just going to look and see what's left, what's in stock. Grow rentals. This is the high yielding agriculture, again, backed by weed, hemp, cocoa beans that produce chocolate, cocoa plants, soybeans, carbon credits, right? These were sold out. They are back available now. So text CC to the number on the screen if you want to put your money into these income producing assets that's backed by real world commodities. Let's see what else was sold out. A lot of these long-term projects like natural gas, the license is perpetual. That means lifetime of cash flow and crypto. See, it's sold out. These sell out, and they sell out fast, right? You have to be an exclusive member, because the reason, the logic is because you're getting cash flow and crypto at the same time. This is the satellite technology. These are rental prices if you want to rent. All of them really started all the way from now SPLR is the $250 package is sold out, so it starts at $500. It's a satellite technology that scans the earth, that has a big announcement in the next couple of weeks of collaboration with SpaceX, Boeing, and Google Earth as well. And so, yeah, that's it, you all. Happy 2023, but position yourself for prosperity. Position yourself for this wealth transfer. And you may not be an accredited investor that has 200K over the last 2 years, or 300K if you are married, to be able to get in futures contracts, but you can get in these cryptos. A lot of people are converting them for 401k, because the 401k has lost trillions this year. Why are you just going to sit back and watch your money and all your hard work, just go to waste? Some people have money just sitting in the bank and it's not earning any interest. It's not making you any money. The one thing I like about this as well is that you can liquidate it. It can be liquidated. You can get on your phone, right? That also the app comes on the phone, and you can get on your phone and liquidate and cash out if you need be. So it's easy to liquidate. With gold and silver, physical, tangible gold and silver, it's not that easy sometimes. You have to go and find a dealer, find someone to cash it out, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not always that easy. With gold and silver, and people, let me show you how the screenshot. The black gold is up 10% on today. 10%. So I'm getting coins and I'm getting a cash amount, right? Like Beyonce and Jay-Z, the best of both worlds. The Explorer technology is almost at 5% up. Gains on today is at 4.9%. Aluminum is at 4.58%, and grow, the high yielding agriculture, is up 2.61%. DED, the decentralized, eco-friendly blockchain technology, is the brain, is the connector. This coin was released a year ago at in 2021 at 0.01 cent, and it is now a little over a year later at $19.71. Then you got natural gas that still is at 0.28. So much opportunity for when gas prices increase that you are already positioned to reap the gains of the higher gas prices and grocery prices at the pump. So also, if you owe taxes or if you need more money out of your paycheck, so you will have to invest, or you want to invest in tangible silver as well, because silver will be a shortage, and the shortage will drive up silver to an all-time high. In fact, silver outperforms gold in a bull market. So silver is going to support projects like Tesla, electronic vehicles, and Chevy. You see the EV, RFID chips, catalytic converters, 5G Wi-Fi. All third world countries will have access to phones, mobile money, and Wi-Fi. And don't forget that the Fed coin is going to be released the first quarter, or is expected to. You already have banks that are doing pilot programs. They're testing the Fed coin, the Biden books, the digital dollars. So you don't want, because the Fed coins will have stipulations like if you don't spend it in a certain amount of days, it goes away. It's going to have restrictions on what you can and cannot purchase, right? You may not have opportunity to invest in tangible assets once this system is flipped. So get them while you can before the Fed coin switch is turned on, because they can deny transactions, right? Just like they can with the EBT card. Certain things you can purchase, certain foods that are good, and certain things you cannot purchase with it, right? So I'm signing out, you all. Again, you can text CC to be a part of the crypto and commodities that give you passive income and crypto rewards, accumulating 24/7, even when you sleep. That's the formula for wealth. You have to learn how to make money while you're asleep and not on your feet. So let's get you started with that today. Thank you all for tuning in. And again, you're watching this on the replay. Drop your country, because this is a global opportunity. We got people in India, Ghana, Africa, all parts of the world that's participating in this, right? So you are people that speak all different types of languages that's involved in this. Let me see if I can show you all something real quick. Let me see if I can pull up the website. Also, they are connected. You get a lot of things wholesale price with crypto land. I don't know if you know this, but you can purchase if you are a member. If you're a non-member, then the price is significantly high. but this is digital real estate. So as a member of IS Global, I was able to get this at a significant discount. This is my purchase. Today I bought some digital land and crypto land, and this avatar. I think this avatar is real, real cool. Got this avatar in the metaverse, and just so much education that you get about not only forex trading, and I'm trying to find, this is another avatar that's in crypto land. It's real cool. If you have not looked at the NFTs with Board Yacht Club and what they're worth now, and understanding the metaverse and where this is going, right, then you're definitely missing out on this wealth transfer. You're definitely missing out. So just so much that I can talk to you all about that's available through. This is another like avatar. It's just digital art. I went to the Bitcoin Miami conference, I think around 2018, and and just saw so much of digital art and NFTs and learned so much when I went to that conference. I think in 2018 or 19. It was one, I think 19. But so because I'm a part of IS Global, I got in. People are making 6 figures a year just from playing these games in this metaverse. So don't miss out on the wealth transfer, you all. Hit the thumbs up. Again, drop your city, state, or country in the comment section. You all have a great night. Queen out.